Hello, ladies, gentlemen, everyone in between and beyond. My name is Taylor, and welcome back to the art table of March 2023, this time recovering Voodoothur AKA David. So I say recovering because I did cover David's work in my previous run of art tables. Please do not go back and watch those. It was just doom scrolling and me talking over stuff which made absolutely no sense. So before we jump into David's work, I do want to reiterate the rules. I do not take any form of promotion, kickback, payment, discount, code, or anything from the artist. Every piece of artwork that I show is purely consensual by the artist, and they have given their verbal, written, and otherwise consent to me displaying their works. You cannot, will not, and never will get a discount code from me or get any sort of deal or bonus from finding them via these videos or just knowing me. Any interactions you have with the artist are purely between you and them. Please do not involve me in any way, shape, or form. Now, with that being said, I would like to jump into David's artwork, which will cover a variety of styles, and I think be pretty applicable to some of the other content that I have on this channel. So the first piece of David's artwork that I wanted to cover is this hunter from, I'm assuming, Monster Hunter World, given the time that it was released, though I could be wrong, wielding a hunting horn. Now, as far as I'm aware, I will say I'm unfortunately a longsword main, so I do not recognize whether this is an established hunting horn or a custom creation, and the armor doesn't look familiar to me either. But I will say both are beautifully rendered and look absolutely fantastic. I would love to have a set like this on my hunter, and I think just the really fine details, the western accents almost, that give it a more cowboy midwestern vibe are really interesting. But hey, as I said, I'm a longsword main and I will forever be a scrub at Monster Hunter, so I will never ever pick up a hunting horn. So moving from the solo act to a group performance, we have here the main characters of Final Fantasy VII. Now I will say they are missing the best girl Jessie, so that does make me very sad. David, I'm really hurting after this one. But it really stuck out to me just because of the, not only the quality of the piece, but also the variation in the art style itself. And this is something I'm going to hit on with all of his pieces that I've selected. They are very different, and I think David has arguably one of the widest ranges in terms of core style that I have ever seen. That is not to disparage any other artists that I have previously covered or will be covering. They have found what works best for them and they have stuck to it, and I think that's wonderful. I think their works are amazing, and I think David's works are amazing for very different reasons, and that's okay. I really want to stress that I am not comparing artists when I make these videos, and I like to highlight each artist's individual strong points in their video. That does not mean I am attempting to compare them or disparage other artists from expressing their own unique points of view. Much like the members of Avalanche, everyone has their own strengths. They're very good at different things. You can't complete the whole without each individual piece. Speaking of strengths and different styles, I wanted to highlight one of David's chibi works. Now, he has done numerous chibis of the main characters of Octopath Traveler. Unfortunately, I have not played the game, so I didn't fully understand all of what was being referenced here. But again, I think it's wonderful work. It really highlights that he can do damn near any style from what I've seen. And again, I will highlight this further in the video. But this woman be scary. Alright, any person, I will say, giving you this look, that's damn scary. And continuing the theme of women or people that scare me, here we have a wonderful mix of the Cells at Work anime and the Doom cover art. So if you haven't seen it, Cells at Work is just personifying human cells and the different jobs that they do. The wonderful figures being shown here are the lovely macrophage. They destroy evil invader cells and viruses. Now, it is a faithful homage, parody, however you wish to put it, of the Doom cover art, and I think it's wonderful. It fits really well with both the theme of the anime and the game. And this is also something I wanted to get into with David. He does amazing crossover work, blending together multiple different forms of media to create a cohesive whole. Speaking of interesting crossovers, I think this piece stood out to me the most when I first looked at David's artwork and made me genuinely disappointed that this wasn't actually a thing. Now, personally, I don't think it's ever going to be a thing, unfortunately, as the kart racer genre and Devil May Cry genre don't exactly cross over a hell of a lot. But that makes me all the more sad that I can't just have these guys in chibi form riding throughout the plains of hell fighting demons in just the most ludicrous vehicles. Also, why do we not have Virgil just riding his sword? Like, where is this? But I think more than anything, it reinforces, and I'm going to say this again, David's ability to work in different styles with different mediums. So we've seen chibi, we've seen high detail, we've seen more stylized, and it all just kind of has his own flavor to it. Speaking of his own flavor, this one really caught my eye when I saw it because I've loved watching the original season of Konosuba. My wife goes absolutely ballistic for Konosuba, and though I have not played the Dragon Quest games personally, JRPG fans, please do not come after me for that. I do know of Dragon Quest I think it's on 11 now, which is crazy to think about. And it's just a loving recreation of that style, similar to the what I call Doom cells, when you had cells that work in the Doom crossover. This is just a wonderful depiction of the Konosuba party in the classic Dragon Quest art style. So as I'm sure you can tell by now, David is a fan of both games and anime, and these next few pieces are going to continue that trend. So we've reached about the midpoint of the video, maybe a little past it. I really quickly wanted to reiterate all social media links and shop links that I have been approved to share are in the description down below. Please take a minute, go check those out. Follow David on Twitter, follow me on Twitter. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It would really help out the channel, and I would love to get these pieces in front of more people. I would love to get these artists more exposure if I can afford it, because right now I have 10 subscribers and that's okay, but if I can get 20, 30, 100, I can get these artists out to more people who might find them more interesting than you. I understand these artists aren't for everyone, and that's okay, but the wider audience we can find, the more likely I am to find the people who do connect with these artists and can really get something meaningful out of it. Anyway, getting back into the artwork, and I think David's most used cast of characters, let's go with that. He clearly has a deep love for Nintendo, and he's told me as such on a couple occasions. So when I saw this Bowser, I was like, okay, yeah, I get it. I think it's a wonderful recreation of the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure art style. Now, some of you may have just heard that and just absolutely cringed, others may have heard that and gone, hey, I've heard of that. Anyway, don't worry about looking it up in terms of watching the actual anime. Just look at the art style. It's super detailed, it's super interesting, and is really well blended here with this version of Bowser. It also makes the kanji in the image make a lot more sense. Moving from one anime to another, because I'm nothing but a filthy weeb, and if you're still watching, thank you for that. We have this beautiful piece of That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, depicted in a stained glass, which I think is absolutely beautiful. It's really colorful, and this is what I love about stained glass. It really allows for some sharp lines to break up different characters and scenes, and allows for a whole lot of color to just really pop off the screen. I think he made a wonderful choice in what anime he chose to depict, because it's, again, a very colorful anime. It lends itself to this sort of style, and the depictions here make sense for the show. I can't imagine how hard something like this would be to get all those angles correctly and not look super disjointed and strange. But I promise that is some of the last anime we'll be covering from him. We're going to move back into his Nintendo territory. To reiterate his love for Nintendo, I picked this image, which, honestly, if you had told me this was just official work by artists at Nintendo, I would absolutely believe you. But this beautifully rendered, really soft, cartoony art style shows a deep love of the characters. And though it looks like a Super Smash Bros. Poster, it feels more like a handwritten love letter to a company that he has a deep admiration for, characters that he absolutely adores, and honestly just an appreciation for the fact that Nintendo can make some really strong female characters without being completely ridiculous or making them into a tropey mess. Maybe outside of Bayonetta, and yes, I know Bayonetta is Platinum Games, but she's still technically a Nintendo property. And the last thing I wanted to highlight about David is his beautiful work with gamifying memes. So anyone looking at this who has played Legend of Zelda will know exactly what this is in reference to in terms of the game, and others may just look at it and go, oh, hey, I know that meme. But this one, outside of just being really funny and a great depiction of a classic meme, was the fact that it looks hand-painted. Now, I do not know actually if this was hand-painted or if this was digitally done, but it stands out visually as one of the only pieces of this style that David has on the page that I was looking at. That would be his Tumblr, linked in the description down below. So if you compare this with everything else he's done, it really highlights that he can do damn near anything that he puts his mind to. Now for the final piece, before we get into the commissions that I've had done, I picked this one that I think just spoke to me on an emotional level. We all know that Waluigi is the best character to ever come out of Nintendo's entire roster, yet he is sorely neglected, but not here. Here, David has recreated a classic painting, which I cannot remember the name of at the time of this recording, and given it a Mario flair. And I think the creepiest depiction of Waluigi I've ever seen. Like, just those really prominent cheekbones make him so much more sinister, and I don't know why. I also feel like you could just comedy title this The Hills Have Eyes, and it would be a creepier movie than the actual 2004 film. Now, in regards to the commissions that I've had done by David, if you would look at this channel in the thumbnail for this very video, you would see David's work. So he helped me design and recreate the new thumbnail template that I use for the art tables. It was a lot of work, but I think it came out beautifully. He listened to all my ideas. We went back and forth as to what he thought would look really good, and I think it came out wonderfully. I could not be happier with it. In addition, if you've watched the Overachievers podcast, which he will be featuring on in episode 10 as a special guest, he created the thumbnail template for that as well. So in my experience, it is lovely working with him. He's a gentleman through and through, does fantastic work, gets everything to you in a timely manner, and is willing to take in your suggestions and give creative feedback. I think he does amazing work, and I would highly encourage you to hit him up and see if he's free for a commission. So with all of that being said, thank you so much, ladies, gentlemen, everyone in between and beyond, for watching this, for enjoying David's work with me. I hope you found something that really speaks to you, or you've seen a style that you are really interested in. I highly recommend you hit David up via one of the links, whether it be Twitter, his store page, or any other links I have in the description down below for him. As I said, follow him on Twitter, follow me on Twitter, subscribe to the channel, because I would love to get his work, Jublier's work, Jared's work, everyone's artwork in front of more people. And I would genuinely love to see this channel grow. And as I said, remember to check out David on March 24th for the Overachievers podcast episode 10, Eye of the Beholder. I'm going to leave you with that. I'm not going to tell you what it means, so you'll have to check it out. Anyway, thank you again so much for watching, for being here, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!